The calculator didn't kill the accountant. AI is not going to kill creativity. It's not going to kill the marketing business.
So you are definitely at the forefront of that as the CEO of Smartly.
Our platform helps our brands create smarter creative that is always on, always learning, and that creative helps consumers make decisions about what they want to engage in, what they want to buy. Our platform generates 300 billion creative assets a year.
25 billion creative assets a month. It's blowing my mind right now.
I just feel like so much is possible around performance, around branding, powered by AI.
People are afraid of losing control. How do they keep control of the process, but also lean into the new technologies?
I think what keeps CMOs up at night is they fear that creative personalization is going to compromise the look and feel guidelines that they cherish.
You're on the TikTok platform and you're engaged in your For You page. How do you feel when an ad pops up?
I think as we get closer and closer to one-to-one marketing, the ads will become the experience. They won't interrupt the experience, they'll become the experience. AI is not going to kill creativity. It's not going to kill the marketing business.
Hey everyone, welcome to Made for TikTok. I'm Sofia Hernandez, Global Head of Business Marketing and Commercial Partnerships here. And today I'm so excited to be speaking with Laura Desmond, a media agency powerhouse and now the CEO of AI advertising platform Smartly. Today we're going to discuss the evolution of performance marketing and how creative, media, and AI are completely changing the way brands drive results on TikTok and everywhere else. So, Laura, thanks so much for being here with us.
It's great to be here, Sophia. Thank you for having me.
I have had so many different guests, both from the customer side, from the brand side, from the agents, creative agency side, and I'm so excited to finally be having a conversation with you because a big topic that the people who watch Made for TikTok want more of is performance and AI. So you are definitely at the forefront of that as the CEO of Smartly, and I'm excited to dive in.
I am too. We go to the way back. We've had a couple evolutions in our careers, and it's just fun to be in this moment together. I just feel like so much is possible around performance, around branding, powered by AI.
Amazing. Well, let's jump in. I work with CMOs all over the world and have watched over the last 5 years how they have really started to shift budgets from top of funnel awareness driving efforts to more bottom funnel, partly because there's pressure around the businesses to really drive ROI, but also because I do feel like we moved into a space where growth marketing, more programmatic type approaches were what the businesses really needed. So I'd love to just hear, what have you seen in the last 5 years? How has the industry evolved?
So it's evolving at a fast pace, and that's what makes the industry really fun right now. I think the last 20 years has largely been about smart audiences, smart media, the fragmentation of the marketplace. And about 5 years ago, what you began to see is that consumers were shifting how we thought the funnel worked. There has always been this idea of upper funnel is for awareness, and then magically they go through the mid-funnel of conversion, and then magically something happens with an action, and that is lower funnel or performance. Consumers, I think, started going much faster in terms of their consumption of content and engaging around more personal, more memorable creative. That's what Smartly does. Our platform helps our brands create smarter creative that is always on, always learning, and that creative helps consumers make decisions about what they want to engage in, what they want to buy, what they want to discover faster. And so the straight line between upper funnel all the way down to the lower funnel became squiggly. And I think the squiggly line is now collapsing. We see on our platform consumers discovering brands and shopping in a blink of an eye because it is more memorable, personal, creative that gets them to lean in. And so the biggest shift I think we're seeing now is the shift from smart audiences, smart media to smart creative, intelligent creative that learns from everything that consumers are engaging with. And that shift, in our opinion, is going to lead to the collapse of the funnel where brand advertising has to perform. It has to lead to an action. The next best creative should have a sense of where a consumer is on their journey and nudge them there with the right next ad, not just the right next dollar, but both. So brand advertising has to perform, and performance advertising has to brand. It has to engage people, even if they don't shop, click, and buy, that will help them come back and shop, click, and buy the next time based on the awareness and the halo effects. And we've been working in this full funnel capacity for the last 3 years. TikTok has been a great partner to us and our brands in helping us collapse the funnel and get to more intelligent creative that brands and performs all at the same time.
Amazing. Let's set the stage with what Smartly is and who is your customer and how does Smartly help them?
So Smartly is an advertising technology company. We use AI and machine learning and automation to power more memorable, more relevant, more intelligent creative. We power advertising sitting on top of the platform's APIs. TikTok is a very big partner of ours, as well as cross-channel and social in commerce and also CTV. We work with over 700 brands. We're global. We run about $6 billion of ad spend through the pipe, through our software. And we really like to believe that we are part of ushering in a new decade of what performance marketing is. And that new decade, in our opinion, is intelligent creative. We've been, in the last 20 years, through a cycle of intelligent media, intelligent audiences, fragmentation of the industry.
Yes.
And what we believe is that Smartly's unified end-to-end platform can actually bring more intelligent data, more intelligent media, more intelligent audiences, and combine that with the power of always on, always learning creative, and that creative performance now will drive this next era of marketing.
So you work with brands all over the world, big and small, mid-size. What are some behaviors that these brands are still practicing that are outdated?
So we work with 20 of the top 30 global brands around the world. Nike, Disney. We learn from them in terms of how fast-paced they go and what they expect of us. What these brands are doing, I think, is really focused on a few things. They want their brand advertising to perform. They want their performance advertising to also shape the brand. They want to move in real time. I think one of the things that TikTok has been so good at defining over the last 5 years is putting performance and culture and creativity together that drives the way that consumers can discover and find out information about the brands they want to consume. And our clients want to go at the speed of culture to be relevant, to be more memorable. And that really means, and this is where Smartly comes in, they rely on us to take their brand core guidelines, their assets, that what they produce, whether it be a CTV ad or a commerce ad or a social ad in various forms and lengths. They rely on us to put that content together to distribute it across the board so that more memorable, more relevant advertising shows up at the right time, the right place to initiate that action.
Got it.
And to do that, you have to go at the pace of consumers, the pace of algorithms, and your platform, Smartly's platform, has to learn in real time in order to develop those creative assets that are on brand, look and feel, but do it in real time. So just to give you an idea of the way we operate and the scale in which we operate, our platform generates 300 billion creative assets a year. That's 25 billion a month. And
that's
our
incredible.
fastest growing, it is pretty incredible.
Wow.
And that scale, though, isn't a compromise. You asked earlier about CMOs. I think what keeps CMOs up at night is they fear that creative personalization is going to compromise the look and feel and on-brand guidelines that they cherish. And what we think of Smartly as is the platform where you can bring it all together and you don't have to compromise. You can have personalization at scale because we know it performs, but you can also have the right type of advertising that's on brand look and feel so that it protects and cherishes the brand. So we really talk about you can do both, and performance marketing has evolved to a point where it is really doing both.
Well, let's dive deeper there. So 25 billion creative assets a month is blowing my mind right now. Very impressive. What are the best practices for ensuring that at that scale, right, and speed, obviously, how do you maintain creative integrity?
So it does start with the creators and the designers and the big idea. What is the brand about? What is this campaign about? What is the always-on, evergreen idea that's going to lead to more growth? So it starts there. And, about 40 to 50% of our users on the platform are media professionals, but the other high percentage are designers and creators.
Okay.
So they're working and integrated together from the start using our platform. So that really helps. Everyone understands what the brand is trying to do. The on-point guidelines, the look, the feel, the imagery. So we start with core assets. In some cases, it might be 20 to 30 assets per brand. In other cases, for really complex advertisers like Uber we work with, they might have anywhere between 75 to 100 core assets. Our platform then takes those assets and starts to run media in the right day parts, the predictive modeling of when people are leaning in. We then learn, our algorithms learn from what's working. What are people, looking at? What are they engaging in? What are they discovering? How are they shopping? How are they buying? And that feedback loop of measurement then goes back in and essentially guides the next set of assets that are created in real time. That's what intelligent creative is. It's always on, it's always learning, and it's guided by the media data, it's guided by the audience data, and it is done in real time so that you can go at the speed of culture and the speed of performance that our clients expect in order to grow.
On the topic of automation, we are also really investing in ways to give CMOs and brands the opportunity to be more flexible, to be more efficient. We have Smart Plus, which is our suite of automated tools. We have Symphony, which is our creative AI-driven tools. And this is all meant to really empower a business. But we hear a lot that people are afraid of losing control. How do they keep control of the process, but also lean into the new technologies?
We fundamentally believe AI is not going to replace creators. It's going to amplify and extend creativity. It's going to extend what humans can do. So our first principle is about human-machine interaction. And no platform is going to be successful if it does not allow for human prompts, human query, and human intervention and interaction while the machine, while the platform, while the algos do their work. So that's job one. AI is also going to allow for a much more flexible way to develop and build these creative campaigns. We're working a lot right now on AI orchestration. So 3 years ago, we started with this simple idea. We want our software to be able to let our users go from an idea to an ad in seconds. And we have gotten to that point now. You can edit, you can assemble, you can refresh, you can change background. You can do it in a matter of 1 or 2 keystrokes. You can send that to 90 markets worldwide. We've done that for clients like Uber, Spotify, where we've literally launched 250 to 300 campaigns in a matter of minutes without additional production costs or operational costs. So we're doing that now. The next place to go, which I think is super exciting for everybody, is what if we can go from an idea to an ad to a campaign? There's millions of steps in a campaign, whether it be on for a 3-week flight or always on. Those are a lot of manual, tedious steps. Those are steps and work that you, as a CMO, would love to have your people not always have to do, but instead let machines do it, but then humans come in and look at where those campaigns are, how they're being built, and then make the necessary interventions, make the necessary up-leveling, the strategic parts that only humans can do.
Right. That's where the control comes in.
100%. And so it's not an either-or world anymore. It's an and world. How do you use AI to extend and amplify human creativity? One of the things that I try to say around Smartly is two things. Number one, don't worry about AI taking your job. It's the person using AI you should worry about. Number two, the calculator didn't kill the accountant.
Yep.
It didn't. AI is not going to kill creativity. It's not going to kill the marketing business. Those who really know how to use it will have control and will be able to take advantage of its power and produce and develop and orchestrate some really amazing campaigns that will turn productivity, I think, into growth.
Yep. That's a great point. So what opportunity do you think brands have on TikTok right now?
So the way we see the opportunity on TikTok is really at the convergence of performance, of culture, and creativity. In so many ways, TikTok redefined creatively what's possible because it merged, social and entertainment in ways that consumers love, they reacted to. We've talked a lot about performance marketing. Our view is that performance marketing, growth marketing, really starts with a smarter upper funnel. You have to think full funnel in order to really get the highest growth and performance possible from campaigns. A great example of work together is Nutrafol, which is the largest brand inside Unilever's health and wellness division. It's a hair loss treatment for both men and women. And we used parts of the Smartly platform, our brand Pulse product, to better understand how to extend reach, how to reduce frequency, how to reduce saturation. And by extending upper funnel and making that more effective, we were able to then drive performance growth marketing campaigns at a much higher level than ever before over some of their key seasonal periods. So that's a good example of starting at the upper part of the funnel to be smarter and think about incrementality and reach, and then taking what you learn, extending creative, generating more memorable assets, and then that drives performance and growth for a brand.
When you're on the TikTok platform and you're engaged in your For You page, how do you feel when an ad pops up? What is that experience for you?
Well, first of all, I'm a student of the game.
Right. You see right through it.
So, I'm the geek that, subscribes to all the ad-supported stuff, right? So I'm a student of the game. And you admire the craft. But for a minute there, and this is what happens when I'm talking to my friends, for a minute there, you're just a person reacting too, right? And so
100%.
You're there and you're like, wow, I didn't know I needed that, but I do.
Yeah.
Or,
yes.
Man, that's so good. How did they know that was on my shopping list or on my to-do list? So then you would really admire the craft. But look, I am a believer in the personalization of marketing. I'm a believer that more personal, more memorable, creative is going to help drive growth, not just for, us sitting here smartly in TikTok, not just for our shared clients.
Yes.
But for the industry overall. And I think it will make the industry healthier because we want people to lean in to ads. We want ads and brands to find the people that they need to grow. And that means it has to be a healthy exchange. It has to have value, which means advertising can't be seen as interruptive. I think as we get closer and closer to one-to-one marketing, the ads will become the experience. They won't interrupt the experience. They'll become the experience. I think as we really get smart with what AI can do to power ads and that experience, I think we'll start to chat with our ads. I think there will be interaction in the same way that we're querying ChatGPT or Gemini today. You and I have been around long enough. We know that consumer behavior, when you're at, when you're on TikTok, that enters into what we expect.
Right.
It changed the game in the mobile era. It changed the game at the dawn of the digital era with Meta and with
Right.
Meta and Google. It changed the game at the early 2000s with AOL and Yahoo. This period of time with AI and the AI companies is changing our game. But I think for the better, it's going to become more personal. And that's why I think it's exciting and it's fun. I mean, I try to tell everyone at Smartly and our clients, we are at a really unique period of time. We will remember this 10 years from now.
Yeah.
And so make the most of it.
Yeah. Just to reiterate, you and I definitely have been in the industry for a while, and we've seen a lot of evolution, especially around the topic of personalization. And that's a word you've been using a lot. I would love to understand, you mentioned just now that we're going to be able to engage with ads at a whole different level. And we're starting to see that with the latest news around GPT and being able to buy products directly. How else do you see personalization evolving?
It's a great question.
Just throw the future vision out there, Laura.
So the future, for me, for us, I think it starts with conversational AI. It starts with consumers encountering a brand they're interested in, not sure if they want to go to the website and click. We know there's a ton of breakage. But they want to find out more. So it starts with conversational AI, conversational ads. Smartly is doing some of that now. And we can see what consumers are interested in. And so in a way, you don't have to shout at them. You just have to listen to what they want. It starts there. We're in that period of time now. It starts with AI targeting. Can we get down to 1 to 100, 1 to 50, 1 to 20, 1 to 10? I think AI targeting on TikTok will allow us to go there, I think, within the matter of the next 12 to 18 months, maybe even sooner, but we will be able to go there. And then I think where it starts to really go is sort of like this Minority Report-like experience. I don't know if it's, the Ray-Ban glass that Meta has. I don't think it's Google Glass from 10 years ago. You remember trying those on, how awkward they are. But it might look something like, I expect to have an interaction with an ad. It becomes the experience. And then over time, does the advertising feature you? Is it you? Is it you?
Yeah.
Is it you in the apparel, the Nike apparel you imagine?
Right.
Is it you in, Disney World with your family?
Yeah.
Is it you thinking about how to efficiently orchestrate Uber Eats, for your dinner party? Is it you with, all the other brands that, make up your life?
Yeah.
I think that's where it will go. And that's pretty cool. And it kind of gets back to what we talked about. Performance and culture and creativity are coming together.
By the way, general counsels all over the world's eyes are twitching right now as you talk about that.
Yeah, but, you can't stop rock and roll. You can't stop rock and roll. It's interesting, though, because when we survey consumers, when we are out doing global research, over 85% of adults expect personalization. They expect this experience. Over 85% say, but know me, respect me.
Yeah.
This is a tightrope. The brands of the next decade know how to walk that tightrope. They know how to make it a comfortable tightrope because they invite people in with the conversation, with the experience, with the memorability. And then people say, okay, they get me, they know me, and they're respecting me. They're not tracking me all over.
Right.
They're not following me. I don't have a frequency of 50.
Right.
I've got the ad, the brand, the experience I want right now, and it's enabling me to get something I need.
Yeah, and it's rooted in value. You're bringing me things I care about, not a bunch of garbage, which people appreciate.
100%. And that's why I think we're on the road to a more vibrant, higher growth industry.
Yeah.
If we keep following this idea of creativity, culture, performance work hand in hand, listen to consumers, create ad formats, like Smart Plus and other things that enable them and allow them to get the information they need and want.
Yeah.
And shop, click, buy.
I think people and consumers are more ready for this evolution than brands are. And we talked a little bit earlier about trust being a barrier for brands, like relinquishing, control, et cetera. What else are you seeing? Because you're working with all these brands all over. What else, what's their hesitation for leaning into new technologies?
So, speaking again about the global research Smartly conducts, we usually do 2 big global surveys a year trying to understand the pulse of consumers. Where are they?
Okay.
And we did a big study released last month in September around consumers' adoption and use of AI. 9 out of 10 now are using some form of AI every day. 85% of adults think they can tell when an ad has AI generative creative in it. Mm-hmm. That's fascinating to me. Mm-hmm. Whether it's perception or reality, they believe they can tell. So they are well on their way to understanding its power, its value, and accepting of it. But they want the data that comes from it, their experience, to be treated with respect,
Yes,
with privacy, and they won't trust it unless they believe a brand or a company like TikTok is doing that.
Right.
That's why offering a safe, secure platform that respects privacy, that only learns from the engagement that consumers opt in for, that's why that's so important. We share this in common. So trust is key. I think the second real big thing that we're learning that both brands and consumers want is they really want a lot of creative agility. And when they can get creative agility, more and more assets, more and more creative versions, more and more memorable, relevant ad, that they feel like they're going to get that engagement, that performance, and the numbers bear that out. The last point that's super important about AI is businesses are now pivoting. Our brands are saying, yes, give us AI that powers productivity, powers time savings, powers our people to give up manual, tedious tasks so they can spend more time on strategy and insight. But use the time savings, use the operational production and people cost savings to power growth. Spotify and Uber are on the forefront of that with us. But, other clients are following pretty quickly. It's like, what can I take that I'm saving? I don't need to spend a production dollar on Smartly with the more ads I create. It is happening in real time with algorithms in the platform itself. I don't need more and more content. I can just assemble, edit, and produce in a platform from what I have. And I use AI to do that in a matter of seconds. I can take a 60-second ad and make a 15-second TikTok in a matter of seconds. And so they're saying, this is great. I'm saving on non-working media or production costs. I'm saving on not having to have people in every market. I can centralize teams. I can put those dollars in different ways. And I can put those dollars to work in more working media, in more ad spend, because they know it works. And so this pivot that brands are making between AI to power productivity and now AI powers growth is real. It's accelerating. And we believe we're leading it because of the AI power that we have in the platform that allows you to do all these things end to end.
Yeah, and I think it's encouraging to everyone watching that you're seeing a reinvestment of the dollars versus a give back or less spend overall, because that's been a big topic, the ROI pressures that CMOs are under. But it sounds like newer technologies, smarter technologies means just a repurpose or a redistribution of the dollars versus marketing budgets being cut significantly.
100%. Tell me a CMO or a CEO who doesn't want to grow their business, and if they can directly measure that and tie that back to more intelligent, creative, AI power that allows you to distribute and produce content faster, they'll do more of it. The ROI is there. They'll do more of it. And so I think this is a period of time, we've been talking about pivots. I think we're pivoting also from a period of time where CMOs are trying to justify advertising as a cost to, I know that
Yeah.
advertising powers growth.
Right.
I can measure it in real time. I can see how the actions that they're taking. I can see the conversations that they want to have with brands. This is, this is why we think, this intelligent creative, smarter creative is possible, because you'll be able to learn in real time, measure in real time, and then that feedback loop goes back to make what you're doing creatively and media-wise that much smarter.
Yeah, I mean, here at TikTok, our 2025 and 2026 roadmaps, product roadmaps, have been very intensely focused on automation, because we're hearing the same thing from marketers. They just need that process to be more iterative, easier. The expectation on brands to produce the volume at the speed at which culture requires.
Yeah.
The older models aren't fit for that, and you do need to lean into technology to really thrive.
100%. When Smartly and TikTok started working together, it was the spring of 2022 when your teams came to our teams and said, let's build a performance marketing business together. Mm-hmm. So we were one of the first partners to get access to the APIs, video shopping ads, and we built together for a good 6 to 9 months, and we went very quickly from alpha to beta to GA, and very quickly built a business that had a growth trajectory that was faster than Meta had with Smartly 13 years ago when we were founded.
Yep.
That's how powerful we saw it was in the first year, 22 to 23. 24 and 25 have been all about scaling. But, when I think about, those times, early days, the speed at which your platform was allowing consumers to go was daunting for our clients. We'd walk in.
That's true.
We went to the leading e-commerce marketer in Europe, and I sat in a meeting with them. These are super smart people. This is, equivalent to an Amazon of Europe, and they were articulating so much of what we heard during those early days together. We have 1x the content, Laura. How do we get 10x? But TikTok means we have to go to 100x.
Yes.
We don't have the non-working. That's going to break our production budgets. We don't have the ability to go that fast. We work with all these creative partners. Do we have the right creative assets? These were the really big questions that were being asked at that time, and we managed, I think, together to answer them really, really well together. We know
Gosh,
that
Laura, that was what,
that it's
3 years ago?
That's how quickly it's moved.
Yes.
That's how quickly it's moved. And so the question, I guess, is 100x of creative now going to be 1,000x of creative over the next couple years? I have a feeling that those will now be the conversations, because people will accept more of that one-to-one marketing opportunity when the ad formats get to a point where we can really take advantage and make those ads the experience. And that's going to blow our minds yet again. And so we're going to have to build and innovate around that.
Yeah, when I think about volume, I think about volume from an experimentation standpoint, right? But just listening to you and what your business is doing, maybe it's not 1,000x. Maybe we're just getting much smarter, right, with the volume that we have. And so maybe it stays at 500 or goes back down. But I think personalization and optimization through automation, those things are going to help us just get so much smarter.
For sure. For sure. And, I think it, as we get smarter, it'll be much faster time, the value chain of time to know that it's working or not.
Totally.
One of the things that we hear marketers ask us all about is, how much should we be testing? How much should we be running A/B testing?
Yeah.
And our answer is, you should be testing all the time.
What does that mean? But especially for the marketers watching, what does all the time mean?
Basically, you are testing A/B in a segment of a country or different markets in Europe and Asia versus other markets. Different media plans.
Yeah.
Different targeting segmentation, either through AI or the segments that you build yourself. and then different creative. And what performs better than the next, than the next, than the next. So
you think-
most of our best-in-class
Yeah.
marketers have constant A/B testing
I was
as
just
part.
going to ask, do you feel like the
Yeah.
majority of marketers are set up to operate that way?
Growth marketers are for sure.
Yep.
More traditional brand marketers
Yep.
are doing A/B testing, but not enough. There's a big gap. But it's interesting. In the last 2 weeks, 2 of our brands have named new CMOs, and both of those CMOs came from the growth marketing side of the business.
That is interesting
And
trend.
and those CMOs will put in place a much more constant, always-on approach to A/B testing and test and learns to find out, can you find that next best creative,
Yeah.
and where should it run? What's the media plan? What's the targeting we use?
Laura, for the CMOs or marketing leaders that don't want to get replaced by growth marketers, what can you just give some really practical advice on 1, 2, 3 steps they can take to just start thinking more about regular A/B testing and lean into growth marketing? Is it find the right partner? Is it build your team differently? Like, would love your insight.
Commit to AI. Commit to using it to
Okay.
extend the team, reinvent workflows, create productivity. Commit.
Yeah.
There's hundreds of actions and initiatives and projects that can be committed to and embraced to that, taken together will really create time savings and productivity. So use it to extend creativity, use it to extend marketing. Don't keep it in a silo.
Right.
That's number 1. Number 2, it's really critically important that you embrace and commit to creative agility. And the only way you're going to do that is if you commit to more generative creative on platforms like a
Yes.
Smartly that don't cost big sums of production money to create and generate those assets in real time.
I think that's a great point.
You can do this working, again, no one's going to replace the big idea.
Right.
If anything, I think it's going to leave more time for the big idea. No one wants to end these big, beautiful, highly professionally produced anthem creative or series of anthem creatives down to performance marketing creatives. Brands matter. They need to have their look and their feel. They need to be, true to their essence. But once you have that, you don't need a ton more money to move this creative from market to market or make it hyper local or make it hyper personalized if you're using generative creative and AI to power those assets and then distribute them around the world. So commit to that. Just say, I'm going to take my non-working budgets to near zero.
Yeah. I do hear a lot that there's a perception that that performance marketing, high volume means it connects less. But everything you've been saying in this session is it actually gives you the opportunity to connect more.
It's in the numbers. The data doesn't lie. I mean, we know the Smartly platform. This has been validated by PwC. It's, there's a reason we have over 700 clients. The platform performs. We know that more agile creative, more personalized creative, and creative and media working in real time with a feedback loop that sends the data about what works back in real time so you can get smarter and smarter as you go. We know that delivers increased ROAS. We know. In our case, over 5 years, we've done the study. That was what was validated by PwC. It's plus 13% versus BAU.
Yeah.
And we have case studies in market all the time that show the power of more personalization in terms of performance and engagement, and also in terms of reach. This is not about an either or. This is an and. Smarter brand awareness campaigns that measure reach in real time, that understand attention and what people are spending time with, translate to smarter mid-funnel and lower funnel campaigns. So the data doesn't lie. The data is clear. I think what CMOs need to get over is what we talked about before. You don't have to compromise your brand look and feel to get it. And you you can't think of advertising as in flights or just discrete campaigns anymore. The best advertising, the most culturally relevant brands are always on.
Yeah.
And they're combining performance and culture and creativity in ways that, increase engagement by the people that they need to buy their products.
Yep. Well said. In my conversations with CMOs, I always hear about the board meeting and what that's like, what that experience is like when a CMO is going to the board and justifying cost and talking about impact. So let's talk about measurement. Growth marketing obviously has a strong story always, right? Like it's in the numbers. Not necessarily the case when you're talking about branding and awareness and top of funnel. We both agree that the funnel is collapsing and they go hand in hand, but I'd love your thoughts and what you're seeing through Smartly and just in the industry on measurement overall.
So it's a great question because, these are the topics that boards want to know about. They want to know how marketing is being reinvented with AI. They want to know how CMOs are using AI to build relationships between their brands and consumers in a different, more relevant way. And they also want to know what's working and what's not. You said it, the data doesn't lie. There is story in the numbers.
Yep.
You can tell that powerful narrative based on what you see in terms of return on investment, what you see in terms of the rate in which click-through is leading to purchase. You can see it work in terms of turning on markets that have not had advertising before. And all of a sudden, business is going through the roof and scaling, not just business, but ad spend behind it that is driving profitable revenue growth in a matter of days. And so there's story in the numbers. There's story in the data. And I think, based on my experience with boards really want to hear CMOs come and use data to build confidence that advertising works and they should be investing more.
And Laura, we're the ultimate storytellers. Why isn't this happening?
We talked about it. If you want a risk-free environment, change your job, change your business, change industries.
So true.
And that gets back to what we talked about before, which is, use AI to drive productivity, to drive time savings, to redeploy your people. Commit to things that you can take to near zero. Like you don't need high non-working media production budgets anymore. You can do a lot more with AI assembling and editing your content that you beautifully produce, by the way.
Yeah.
You don't have to have AI avatars or AI-generated zero storytelling. You could just work more efficiently with the production and the film and the video that you have, that is safe.
It's true.
So creative agility, more testing, using AI to extend creativity, measuring all the time. One of the big areas that measurement is going into that we see that I think is cutting edge, but I think in another year everyone's going to be talking about it, is incrementality.
Okay.
Everyone thinks MMM does a good job of generally telling you which direction you should be going in. And everyone wants MTA to be better than it is, but at least it's an indicator of what that squiggly consumer journey looks like.
Right.
Although my general feeling in talking to, 20 of the world's largest marketers that, use Smartly is they have less confidence in MTA generally, and they're looking for something now more to point real-time direction. And so the smartest brands we're working with are really looking at incrementality now.
Okay.
Incrementality testing, incrementality metrics. How do I get more people into the funnel, and how do I quickly move them through, and how do I measure the just one more? And what we're finding is if you can match ad spend and personal creative to incrementality measurement, you've got a new story about what works, why it works with the creative engagement, and then what it leads to in terms of additional purchase, additional consumption. And so I think incrementality is the one place I'd say hey, if you don't know a lot about it, lean in
Right.
and start to figure out how you can measure incrementality and then measure your ad spend and personal creative and put those together to tell a new story about what's working with your brand.
I mean, that makes so much sense, especially with what we touched on earlier, which is these unplanned purchases, right? And that's the beauty of the algorithm, of the automation, targeting the right audiences, and the personalization, right? Like, how, again, like, how did you know I wanted that? How did you know I'm having a dinner party? And, well, it's because you've been searching that, right? So I think that's brilliant. And incrementality has been definitely a buzz topic in the industry.
No, for sure. I think also, when you think about it, TikTok actually is at the center of incrementality because people used your platform in ways that they didn't use the other platforms for.
Yeah.
And that led to a different type of purchase behavior, a different type of engagement, a different type of brands having to tell stories. And that's led to a different type of purchasing journey. We talked about that collapsing of the funnel.
Yep.
So, a lot of the innovation that TikTok has brought with your APIs and algorithms has led to a different way of viewing what marketing spends and what marketing outcomes need to be. It's not always the last touch. It's not always this big MMM that tells you what happened. It's more about matching incrementality in real time to creative and then the media spend to know what's happening now. And then you just do more of it.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely have watched the behavior of people on the platform evolve over the last 6 years, and we react quickly for marketers and the brand audience to be able to take advantage of that. 2 examples, 3 actually, is TikTok Market Scope, which really helps brands understand how they're playing in comparison to other brands, right? And how the messaging is landing, et cetera. Second is our consideration ads, which we launched this year, which lean into the concept that the funnel is collapsing, and we can actually guide you on who's considering your products at what stage. And then the last thing is search. Like, we noticed that so many people were coming to TikTok to search. So we quickly created a product that allows brands to be a part of that.
Yeah, we honestly, a lot of our brand, I mean, over half of Smartly's brands on our entire platform are using TikTok on an evergreen basis, on an always-on basis. And, the 2 ad, formats that, they really are embracing is search, and search ads, and then, Smart Plus. And that's because it's giving them a different view, and they're looking at higher performance, and they'll just keep, rinse and repeat. They'll keep using it over and over again. So we see the same.
That's great to hear. All right, Laura. So we talked a lot about performance. We talked about measurement. We talked about AI and automation. We covered a lot. What kind of last words do you want to give the audience? We have creative agencies who watch this, media agencies, brands, senior marketers, people just starting in the marketing career. Like, what are kind of the 2 big pieces of advice you give them?
So we're at a very disruptive time. There's a lot of opportunity, and we have to commit to it and embrace it. I think the big 3 calls to action that I would ask marketers to think about is, number 1, within 3 years, run 100% of your ad spend through AI-powered platforms.
Okay.
Number 2, commit to near zero non-working production budgets where you're using generative creative. You do not have to spend a ton of money outside of working ad dollars, and turn that productivity into growth. And then, number 3, let's really work together to ensure that we're using AI to extend human creativity. We're using AI to get people to work together so that there's, the silos come down. There is way more creativity to be unlocked and tapped into in this industry if we can get what has been previous silos of the media buyers and the creatives and the designers, and having them work together to unlock those ideas, understand the brand, and then deliver powerful performance marketing campaigns.
Yeah, and I'll just add to the tail end of that all of what you just mentioned is going to help you tell a powerful story to the board. And root that story really in growth. And I think that is the pressure that marketers are feeling today, is justifying their budgets, justifying their actions, et cetera. I agree 100%. It's the story you can tell from the data.
For sure. Thank you.
Laura, thank you so much. This
Thank
was
you.
great. I appreciate you being here with us today.
Yeah, just a delight. Thank you, Sophia. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone, for tuning into this episode of Made for TikTok. Remember to subscribe so that you don't miss any of our new episodes. All right, we'll see you next time.